Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today is August 28th, 2011, and you're watching Overgrowth Weekly 37. I'm Silverfish, and with me today, as usual, is Anton Real.
Hey guys, I'm back!
Yay, Anton is back from Belgium and his girlfriend. So, did you have a good time?
I did. I had an excellent and relaxing week, except for the return flight home, which was fraught with danger and hurricanes.
Oh my good lord. Did you die?
But I did die, but then I decided death wasn't as cool as it sounded, and so I came back.
Awesome. That's my Anton.
So, actually, it was kind of strange flying into the east coast of the U.S. when a hurricane is coming. We, you know, definitely a lot of concern over whether or not we're allowed to land where we want and getting out of the airport as soon as possible. So I left the airport in Philadelphia about an hour before they closed it for an approaching hurricane, which was downgraded to a tropical storm, which is not as bad. So,
well, that's good anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah, traumatic experiences.
Exactly.
How was it being in the country of Belgium then?
I enjoy it a lot. It was a pretty relaxing week for me, so mostly, you know, hanging out and not even much sightseeing, just hanging out with friends. Actually met up with someone from the Wolfire community, goes by Lorcan in the IRC.
Cool.
Which was also fun. Yeah. So.
Nice. Well, me, I've been last week. What's been going on with me? Well, first off, it's been like the introduction week. I don't know. It was translated into freshman pranks. Does that make sense in English?
Yes.
Okay, good. Because, last week, or this week, I guess, depending on, you know, America has weird weeks. Anyways, we've been having freshman pranks, so, yeah, I've been meeting a lot of people and screaming a lot, you know, singing, stuff like that. And this Saturday, just yesterday, I was at a, like, reunion or something for relatives. I think it was called like a cousin meetup or something like that. It was nice, I guess. It was a very broad meetup, so I knew like 6 people there, and there were like 70 or 80 people there or something like that, so a lot of people. And I knew almost none of them. But yeah, it was fun. It was really well thought out, everything, so yeah, had a real good time.
Cool.
And came home just today, and yeah, that's about it. That's what's been going on with me.
So we were both pretty busy, I take it, recently.
Yeah, stuff has been going down. And tomorrow college starts, so I'm quite excited about that. Gonna be exciting to see what's going to happen there.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear what happens too.
But let's move into the show, I guess. First up, as usual, we have the weekly alpha that we always start out with. In this, we take a look at what's new in the latest alpha and show it off inside of the game. So nice. We have the change log. First we have can exit back to main menu to load different levels. And this is actually pretty exciting. It might not sound very exciting, but it's a feature that has been requested like a million bajillion gazillion times. And it makes it much easier because you don't have to turn off the game every time you want to change your levels. So here I am in the game. Let's actually change to the right camera. There we go. If I now hit escape, I get this game menu thing, and I can retry to restart the level. Or I can continue, or I can press main menu to go back to the main menu and select a different level.
It's a very cool feature, although so far I've only had going back to the main menu and selecting a new level crash on me.
Oh, But it's been working for me. I could even switch to like, I could do it several times and stuff like that.
That's cool. I think it might be that I went from a level with ambient sounds, which did not disappear when I went to the main menu, to a custom map without ambient sound, and I think that might have had something to do with it. So it's something I'll hopefully have more time to test out, but again, since I was gone, didn't really get a chance to play with it too much.
Yeah, that sounds like a potential bug.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see, let's just add that spear back in there, because we're gonna need it later. And then we have, let's change to the correct camera, there we go. Retry/continue menu after victory, so if you win now, you get this nice menu. Let's see if I can win, and I can show you the menu. I actually managed to change characters there, that wasn't my intention. I'm gonna need this spear, because otherwise these guys will kill me. So there we go, they're dead, and ta-da, level completed. You get a time taken thingy there that says how long it took, and then you can continue run around or retry to restart the level.
Yep.
Nice stuff. This is really useful. Actually, I mean, both these menu entry thingies are actually quite exciting for me, because they make the game feel much more game-like than
Yes.
it does before, because before it felt much more like a tech demo or something like that, where you're not actually meant to play it, but it's starting to feel more and more like I'm a welcomed player in this game.
Right. So I'm very excited by that, and will be happy when they look a little more interesting, I think.
Yeah.
So, but the functionality is the key at the moment, and anything more functional makes me smile.
Yep, indeed. And then we have more detailed blood effects, cuts, stabs, and drips. So I'm going to pick up this weapon again and stab this guy in slow motion, so you can take a look at. Actually, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to let the AI do it, because then we can look at it from wherever angle we want. If he wanted to die now, that would be unfortunate. Okay, so you just hit that guy there. You see the stab wound right there? Let's hope this works out. Yeah. You can see the blood flowing. I'm not sure if we need the slow motion for this.
The slow motion certainly lets you see the amazing amount of detail that we're now getting compared to what we used to have.
Yeah.
Which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, indeed. This is just initial blood. Okay, so let's explain this. Before they had the per triangle blood, if you remember that, where each triangle on the character geometry would become red when the blood flew over it. Flowed over it. Okay, thanks. But now they've changed it, or David has changed it, so that it's per texel instead, and a texel is a texture pixel, so it's a per pixel on the character, you could say.
Correct.
And so it's much more detailed than it used to be right now, but it's still in the very early stages, so it doesn't look super realistic actually, even though the effect itself is quite awesome. It's actually, in my opinion, not good enough yet to be of final quality.
Well, what's funny is in the video he said that basically now all he's done is recreated the blood that existed before, which means that this is actually new blood from scratch. So kind of cool that he made it feel so seamless to go from the old blood to the new blood.
Yeah. He's very awesome like that. And we're gonna, there's a tweet they tweeted about that we're going to talk about at the end of the show as well. That's blood related, so that's kind of a really cool one. So look forward to that. But yeah, let's move on. Oh, I just realized that view has been out of focus the whole time. Let's just move that up there, so that won't happen again. There we go.
Oh, it didn't look terrible most of the time when you were focusing on things, so I could see it.
Good. Okay, next we have blood texture has anti-aliasing and mip mapping. Anti-aliasing means that the edges on the blood, on the characters, they are like smooth, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the case. He basically smooths the edges so they're not super square, because that would look kind of weird. And it has mip mapping as well, and mip mapping means that when you're further away, it will replace the texture with a smaller version of the texture, so the quality of the texture will decrease as you go further away, but it won't be visible because it can only fit on so many pixels. I hope that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense to me.
Yeah, so these things, anti-aliasing and mip mapping, that basically means that it's being treated like a standard texture in a game. It's like nothing special about it, basically, because almost any texture in any game has anti-aliasing and mip mapping. And that's good, I guess. It's good that he has gone the whole 9 yards, if you know what I mean, and made it proper and not just some quick fix. So that's good.
Yeah.
And then we have config settings to print key presses. So if we go into the config here, let's see what I have here. Let's go to documents and Wolfire, overgrowth, data, custom, no, not custom, config. Here we have, let's see if we can find this here. Config settings to print key presses. Debug key presses. It's set to false currently. If we set this to true, my guess is that it'll print the key presses. I'm not sure where it will print it actually. I haven't tested that one out. So I'm going to restart the game while I'm going to keep talking about these other ones. Next we have... Let me just load a level. There we go. Fixed multiple characters grabbing the same weapon. It's a pretty known bug, pretty funny bug that I think you actually, Anton, pointed out before earlier sometime.
I think I did. Yep.
Yeah, it's a very funny. If two characters grab the same weapon, the weapon will be in both characters' hands. It will kind of swoosh from one hand to the other. It will like constantly go from one of the characters to the other character, and it looks really weird.
Although all of the animations are they essentially all were able to hold it at the same time, so they were all attacking with, or in your example, they were both attacking with the sword, even though the physical sword was moving between the two characters. And what was even more funny is that you could actually have. I had 5 characters holding the same weapon at one time, and I would stand in the middle of them, and you would watch the sword swinging around between all of them. It was pretty silly.
Yeah. Okay, so here you can see the key presses anyways. Let me switch back to there. There we go. In this black kind of console view that you have, anytime I press a key, you can see how it's pressed. So that's cool. Useful for debugging, I guess. I don't know if these key numbers can be used for anything, but in the code, I mean. I'm not sure about that, but that would be kind of cool if that was the case.
I'm sure there will be some reason to use that.
Yeah. And then we have the last one, held weapons don't sparkle. Of course, they have a system in this game where if a weapon is far away, or if a weapon is like anywhere and it's on screen, it will have a sparkle animation go over it from time to time. It's there to make it easier to find weapons, but they want to make it easier to find weapons in a kind of realistic way.
Right.
And they fix it so that if you're holding a weapon, that weapon won't sparkle like that, because it kind of looks weird up close.
Right.
So yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
And that's all of the changes for this week's alpha.
Yeah, you actually skipped over one. Not that it's a big deal, but there was an issue, fixed deleting attached characters and weapons, which I'm guessing at one point there was an issue if you deleted an object while a character was holding that object, like a weapon, that would make it crash or something similar. I never actually experienced that bug, though.
Yeah, thanks for pointing that out, that I missed that one. I actually experienced that bug. What happens is the weapon is invisible and you can't drop it, but you're still holding it, so... Yeah, good bug to fix.
Yes.
And I think there might have been another one that was associated with that. That was characters, if you deleted them, would still be there, actually, but they would be invisible. So, yeah, so if you deleted like a character, and I don't know, maybe if you deleted the character while he was holding the weapon or something like that, then he would still be there actually, and other characters would react to him and you would be able to like attack him and stuff like that, but you wouldn't be able to see anything because, well, he's invisible.
Funny.
Yeah, kind of weird bug, but you know, stuff
Phantom
like
deaths.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's all the changes. Good thing we caught that. You caught that last one.
No worries.
Next we have, yeah, that brings us out of the weekly alpha segment and into the community segment, where we take a look at what the community has been up to this past week. And we have first up the fan art watch, where we look at the latest fan art. And it looks like since last week there was like one post on 24th of August. That was Wednesday. So yeah, no new posts, unfortunately.
No nope. Oh really? I thought the
Did we show the comic?
No, I don't think we did.
We didn't show the comic, so there were new posts. I am
I think
sorry.
The 20th. I think there's actually several. I think
22. Yeah. Let's see.
Yeah.
22nd. Yeah, there were actually several. Sorry, we kind of talked about this before, so it felt like it had happened. If you know what I mean.
Well, you and I talked about it.
Yeah,
but,
exactly. You and I talked about it, so I was like, yes, that was Overgrowth Weekly, but then no, it wasn't Overgrowth Weekly. So yeah, let's go with this. Here we have an image by a hunting dog, and yeah, he depicts his first work of art depicting Overgrowth. This piece was created using an Asian silk painting technique, hollowed out and reformed multiple times to give it a unique appearance. In the portrait, it's several animals represented in the game, including 4 obvious ones in the front and 2 hidden in the background. The symbol in the clouds is my symbol. I like the originality of Overgrowth and I give it power. And yeah, I don't think it's quite as sophisticated as he makes it out, but it looks cool anyways.
It is, and I think Whale Man is just awesome.
Where is Whale Man?
Whale Man is on the horizon, just below the clouds on the right-hand side. So, I don't know. Do you see where the ground is?
Yeah, I guess this is the mountain right there, and
yep.
Oh, the whale, is that the Whale Man there or something?
I think so. I can't quite see where your cursor is yet, but
yeah,
yeah,
sure.
Yes. What I'm watching you circle now, which of course is seconds behind, is the Whale Man.
I don't see that as the Whale Man. I don't know, maybe.
Well, he certainly intended it that way.
Okay then, it's cool. And other than the Whale Man, we of course have a cat, a dog is my guess, and a wolf and a rabbit right there, and the text Overgrowth. So yeah, kind of a cool drawing. Looks quite quick of a drawing. I like the simplicity.
Yep, I think it's cool.
Yep. And here we have another one by Hunting Dog, another title in a newspaper comic style, lots of hidden treats.
Which I didn't really look at this one.
I didn't look too much at this one either. This one has...
I see if I...
This one has a... I don't like the style of this one as much as the other one, because this one looks more just thrown together somehow. Yeah, but yeah, it's still cool though.
There's definitely a lot of details if you zoom in, like a rabbit on the roof and people in guard towers, but it's definitely kind of a little faster. Looks a little faster. I don't know, I like the lettering style of the word overgrowth, and his symbol for himself I kind of like. So
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess to me those were sort of the two things I was looking at more than the city and background and stuff. But
yeah, I agree. Those do look nice. But I think this was drawn in Flash. It looks like it was drawn in Flash, because Flash always gives these very smooth lines if you have that activated, which most of the time you do. Yeah, that's what I don't like about it. It looks so flashy. The lines looks like they're drawn in Flash, so they look weird.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Anton said it. You know, like he's going for a certain aesthetic, which I think is kind of cool as well. So
yeah. So those images made by Hunting Dog, certainly well done, and we certainly hope to see more from him in the future as well. Next we have an image by Corbane. It's a, I guess, modified image of Endo. The Endo image, the Endo Perez image.
I think Endo face, no? Is that not the... If anyone can find the original Endo face and link it to me, I'd love to go back and see where it started, because I've been enjoying seeing it pop up throughout the forums this past week.
Yeah, it's really nice. So people are basically taking this image of this cool guy. I think he's supposed to hold a spear, and adding words to the image and giving him other objects to hold and stuff. So this, yes, I guess, is excited Endo face or something. Oh boy.
I guess so.
Gotta find them all. Hidden treats. Related to this one by Hunting Dog. Lots of hidden treats. Yeah. So yeah, I like these Endo faces. And then we have another one by Hunting Dog. Another image. Endo is in overgrowth. This image is just weird.
I don't know. I like it. I like that he has this style. It's this one makes me smile a lot.
Yeah.
Probably because there are so many frowning faces.
Yeah, there's an Endo face everywhere. First we have the obvious Endo face right there, and then the balloon has one, of course, and then there's one on his chest as well. But yeah, it's funny to look at, as you say. It's cool, but it's weird.
Well,
but not in a bad way.
Yeah, I think that if anyone deserves his own meme in the overgrowth community, it's Endo Perez.
Yeah. Indeed.
So
yeah, that's another one by Hunting Dog. Well done. And then someone suggested that I think Hunting Dog should make a Overgrowth comic strip, or several. So he does, like, the same day. So here we have Overgrowth comic number 1, Silverfish and Anton, video time the first of many. Yeah. So video time.
Overgrowth Weekly. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. So here we have it. Okay, so OG Comic 1, Silverfish and Anton. Yeah, that's me, Silverfish, and that's Anton right there with the cap. Awesome. So I'm saying Anton is missing today. This is like last week, I guess, because you weren't here last week, so I guess I said Anton is missing today. So yeah, Anton is gone again. Oh yeah, like, okay. So it's kind of hard to see actually where the squares are, but this is one of the squares. And here we have the second square, so Anton is missing today, and then we can see that Anton is at school eating nachos.
I do like nachos.
Yeah, nachos are awesome. So in the next image, I say Anton's gone again. And Anton's still at school, and school is getting old apparently because there's like a cobweb and stuff. And you're saying, well, what was I going to do? So apparently you have forgotten the very important Overgrowth Weekly.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, indeed. And
that was a terrible thing for me to do.
Yeah. I like the rabbit here in the background. For some reason there's a rabbit and like a samurai sword right there.
Yep.
That's kind of cool. Not this time, Anton, I say, and then I grab you from my frame and pull you into Overgrowth Weekly from at school.
Excellent.
And you're replaced with... No! And you're replaced with the hunting dogs logo right there. And I have, of course, I have Overgrowth in the background. So that's awesome.
Excellent.
Yeah, so this comic... It's kind of funny to look at it because we don't, Anton and I don't look anything like we do in this comic.
Which is true, although I believe Hunting Dog is a new member to the community, so maybe if he's listening today, he needs to go find the, 10 pictures of me.
Yeah.
But, and sadly, I don't still go to school. It's been, years, because I'm old.
I'm the one who's about to go to school, so we need to get this straight. Like, okay, I am going to start college now. Anton makes music. Anton has an awesome beard and an awesome hair in general.
And long hair.
Yes. And I don't have any beard and short hair. You can probably find images of both of us somewhere. Otherwise, send an email to ogweekly@gmail.com. And we will give you images of us, just so you can get it right, if you're going to make any more of these.
If you want. I mean, I guess I don't mind being portrayed as someone else in a comic strip. I don't have to always look like myself.
Yeah, that's
although,
true.
Although I do particularly like the drawing of me that Menace made that is now my avatar, so maybe he should copy and paste that into his comic.
Yeah. Like anytime you're in the comic, it's just that image there.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, but just for the record, as we said, we don't look anything like this. Anton doesn't go to school. I don't have long hair at all. I don't have a soul patch, I think it's called.
That would be a soul patch.
Yeah. And Anton doesn't wear hats. Or caps, at least.
Not too often, no.
And I don't even have a laptop. Oh my god. I'm just kidding. Yeah, that's a really cool, good job by Hunting Dog. Hopefully we'll see more of these, because a comic where I'm in it and Anton is in it is of course going to be super awesome.
Yes, and I laughed very hard when I saw it.
Mm-hmm.
So I was excited.
Yep. And there we have another image by Corbane. He says the comic's funny, so that's what Anton does when he skips OG Weekly. Nacho Trader, yeah. And then he has this image that's related, I'm guessing. It's end of face with the text "shun" and a dot. I don't approve of the dot, but I approve of the words and the image as a whole.
Yes, I love the endo face, and and I've been shunned for eating nachos.
Yeah, how dare you eat nachos?
I know.
Do you really? Okay, and that's the last one. So I'm sorry for being like, oh, there was no fan art this week, but yeah, there was fan art. I just had a long conversation with Anton about all these images earlier this week, so it felt like I had already done Overgrowth Weekly with these images. But anyways, that's the end of the fan art watch. Next up we have a map released. It's called Bad Bunny Runes, made by dogchief_NL. So, Bad Bunny Runes. I'm going to start a video where I play through this level because it's quite hard and I would never be able to get through it just live, because it took a lot of tries to finish it, and I only finished it 2 times. But yeah, enjoy. So you start out behind these kind of ruins here, and there is an enemy you need to kill. And the annoying thing with this level is that enemies try to run away often, and they don't know where to run, kinda. That can be kind of annoying, you'll see it later in this video. But yeah, in general, while I played the level, it feels, it looks very nice, and I like the general quality of it. It has a very high level of quality. The annoying thing is also that it has a lot of enemies on it. I think I counted it to 8 enemies or something, and 8 enemies is quite many. That's a lot of enemies for an Overgrowth level, both in terms of you know, it being very hard to kill 1 enemy, it being quite hard to kill 2 enemies, you know, and 8 enemies in a row, and one of them might get lucky and kill you. Yeah, it's just best to keep the enemies quite low. Like 4 enemies would be a pretty medium hard level, I would say.
Yeah.
But in general, yeah, I did get through it after a while, but it took a lot of tries. And it's a cool level. Like, I really like how it's built. It feels very handmade in many ways, since he has all those beams, like where I'm standing right now on this construction. There are loads of beams going everywhere, looking like the level could actually exist like it does.
Right. Which is one of the cool things about levels like these.
Yeah. I think he mentions even that he really dislikes the flying levels, if you know what I mean, the levels that are just hanging in the middle of the air. But yeah, okay, let me tell you what he writes about this. As I love to build maps and be creative, etc., I made this small map. Your goal is to save the civilian rabbit and take over their camp. It's my first map and I'm certainly not proud of it, but I thought I'd just share my first experiment. And you should be proud of it because it's a pretty cool map, man.
That it is.
It's not a floating objects map, I seriously dislike those. Okay, kill all the bad rabbits. There are certain ways to get up there. I think there are at least 2 ways to get up there at least. So that's cool. I really like that you can choose your approach. You could go in Rambo style and start finishing everyone off, or go in ninja style and take on your first opponent with ease. It's my first and not my last. It's also not very long, but as long as you enjoy it, I'm fine with it. And that's about it. That's what he writes about it. So yeah, the big problem with this level, I would say, is that there are so many enemies. If you would do it with like half the amount of enemies, it would be much easier to finish, and you could play through it several times and still enjoy it if he gave them patrol routes, so that every battle won't be the same. That's because right now, like almost anywhere you go, there will come an enemy running, because they will either hear you or see you from far away, and that's just very annoying. It would be, I guess that's a kind of the fault of the game too, because it's impossible right now to kill someone without a fight if you want it to be kind of fair, because there are no stealth attacks yet. But if there would have been stealth attacks, this level would probably have been, you know, at a good level of difficulty, I'd say.
Yeah, my guess is that once the combat has been balanced a little more, and once you know, techniques for fighting multiple opponents are maybe a little more fluid, that a level like this will actually turn out to be a very appropriate level with an appropriate number of enemies. So just maybe, and also when things are a little more optimized, so that you're not running at such a low frame rate.
Yeah.
So
because right now these 9 NPCs, I think, make the level very slow. As you can see, it runs at 15 FPS on my level when I'm recording, and I should be able to run it, like without the enemies, I should be able to run this map at 60 FPS without much trouble at all.
Yeah, So I think that it's a good, a well-designed map, but maybe not fully ready for the prime time, which, for his first map, it's certainly exciting to see.
Yeah, like for being a first level, it's very, very well done. It's just that it would, as you said, it would have been a good level, but right now the game just isn't ready for a level that like this, basically. So I wouldn't actually not say that it's as much his fault as it is that the game just isn't ready yet.
Right.
So that was Bad Bunny Runes by Dog Chief NL. So well done by him. And next we have, let's see, a map release, another map release called Some Air by Jack the Awesome.
Yep.
We're not going to show this level live because the level looks exactly like this. It's a hexagon in the middle of the air with a green spawning point right there, as you can see. And the green spawning point is where the player starts, the white spawning point is where an enemy starts. And then you're meant to like duplicate this ground piece, make more ground if you want to, make walls, add weapons, add more enemies. It's basically make your own arena map. So it's very optimized because it doesn't have any other objects than this flying hexagon, so it should be running at a good FPS, and yeah, it's basically a fool around with map.
Right.
So if you're interested in that, check it out.
Yep.
And it looks like people are interested because it has already been downloaded 15 times, so that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, and I think a useful map like that will always be good, and yeah, way to go.
Yeah, well done, Jack the Awesome. Next we have another map release. This map is called Runaway, and it's made by Andre Diniz CTU. Andre Diniz CTU. This is one hard level. I just noticed it today, so I played it for 20 minutes or something, and I haven't finished it yet. But I can load it up when I'm in the game. I can press escape and then main menu, and then I can load it up. That's very useful, right? What was it called now again?
Runaway with a capital R.
Yeah. Actually, you don't need a capital R.
No, it's not context sensitive.
Yep. Yep.
Oh,
So
good
this
to
level,
know.
yes, it is not cap sensitive or whatever you say.
Right.
So this level is, as I said, I haven't finished it yet, so I don't know how long it is, but I can tell you that it's long enough, at least. You can notice that the FPS right now is around 20, 18, 16, between 15 and 20 FPS right now. My guess is that that's because there are a lot of NPCs on this level, kind of spread out, because the level is so long. Just having a few NPCs here and there will slow it down quite a bit. So that would probably be my first complaint, that he needs to remove some of these NPCs, because it, like, in any case, this feels very much like a parkour level.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really think that the NPCs are very necessary at all.
Yeah, I was playing with this, and it's definitely a very climbing based level, which sometimes is fun, sometimes is pretty tricky. In this case, I found that I would sort of get a little more frustrated than excited. So far, I also have not finished it, having found it maybe 3 minutes before I told you about it this morning.
Oh, I see.
So
yeah, it is a very hard level. You will need a lot of patience and or skill to finish it. But what I like about it compared to other similar levels, other climbing levels, is that you really need to think when you're playing this level. You really need to give it your all to get through some of the obstacles. You need to really think about, okay, how can I use my environment to get through, you know, the obstacle in front of me. And it's not like it's not always just a matter of finding the right platform to jump to, because it might be very hard to find that platform that you need to jump to.
Right.
Or maybe there isn't a platform. Maybe there are like just a room of pillars, and you know you need to get up into like a hole somewhere, and so you need to find out how to get on top of those pillars so you can get to the hole. So I really like that it's very much an exploration level like that.
Right.
Let's actually jump forward, because this part of the level is the least attractive part. It gets much better just a bit ahead here. It kind of continues for a while, and then as we get up here, we get to the cool part. And when I came up here, it was like, oh my lord, because this place looks awesome. This place is just plain coolness.
Yeah, yeah. Once we got into everything with the decals, it was pretty. I flew through the level just to kind of look at it, because I was having a hard time playing it, and when I got to these sections, it really kind of became exciting, you know. So
yeah.
that was pretty cool.
So it has kind of a varied detail level, a varied level of detail, which is bad for the level, because having this good-looking part of the level makes the prior part look worse than it would if this cool part wouldn't have been as cool. So it's actually better to keep a low and even level of detail than to have you know, some parts be low and some parts be high level of detail. So, and it might sound weird, but let's say you have a level with two parts. One of the parts look really bad, and one of the parts look really good. It would actually probably be better for your level if you made the good-looking part look worse, because then you would have an evil level of detail, and people wouldn't think the first part looked bad, because then it would just be a bad-looking level instead of being a level that was like bad in the beginning and then good at the end or something like that.
Right.
Because then people won't, you know, think about the graphics at all, basically.
True.
Yeah. So it's a very long level, but not too hard, at least for me. But I can imagine it being too hard for a lot of people, because I'm pretty good at this game. So I wouldn't recommend it for new people. But if you do have a bit of experience with the game, and you do feel like playing through a long level, I haven't finished it yet, so I don't know how long, but I know it's long. I can recommend this level.
Cool.
Are there any cool places towards the end of the level, Anton? Because I don't want to fly through the whole level because it's so long, so I don't want to spoil everything.
Yeah, I mean, I think you are sort of at what I find the most interesting portion of it. The ending is cool, and the way that he does his credits is also kind of nice. But yeah, and the only way to finish the level is to die.
That's awesome.
Yeah, which is kind of fun. So.
But yeah, what I would recommend to this guy is just don't have so many NPCs. Like this wolf here, or any of the enemies. This level is hard enough without any enemies whatsoever. So you don't need to add these enemies, because it makes the FPS go down and fewer people will be able to play the level. Especially since the level is so long and you need so many NPCs in order to keep the level filled.
Right.
But in general, it's like, again, it's a matter of the game not being quite ready for a level like this, because when the game is done, I'm sure this amount of NPCs will be no problem for the game, and there will be probably built-in checkpoints and stuff like that, so you won't have to worry about starting over the whole level if you happen to get, you know, a wolf being lucky killing you in one hit, like they usually do. But yeah, basically a good level anyways, made by Andredinis CTU. I think it was his first level, so I recommend you play through it and give him some feedback, because I really liked it so far. And yeah, well done.
Yep.
Looking forward to more.
Yeah, me too. I agree. And checkpoints will will change everything.
Yes, indeed. I'm going to make a video of this level and release it to the YouTube channel when I have some time, because, yeah, it's hard to get through. Next up we have a mod release. The mod is called Stances, and it's made by Endo Perez. So let's take a look at this. Here's a little something that kind of works, he says. Maybe most people probably shouldn't get excited, since it's more of a proof of concept than an actual mod. Anyway, with it in place, fighters face each other and use custom animations while they are in close combat with someone. Kind of like the difference between normal idle and combat idle, except of course that I didn't make custom animations, so the rabbits are just sliding around. So this is a mod that will, you know how some rabbits have the casual stance where they're just standing with their arms by their sides, and some rabbits or enemies have their arms up like they're about to fight someone.
Right.
This mod allows you to add your own fighting stance, I guess.
Right. I think it's fighting stances and actual combat animations. From what I understand. That's what it sounded like, although he just talks about stances here. So I actually haven't installed it yet, so I'm not totally sure.
Yeah, me neither. I didn't really have time, unfortunately. That other level took up so much time. But yeah, as I said, this probably isn't interesting to most people, but if you want to make a mod where the characters have different stances, then, you know, this is it. And potentially it works for attack animations as well. We're not quite sure. You will need to read through this a bit more carefully, I guess. And if you, yeah, check it out. If you're interested in scripting and stuff like that, check it out. Otherwise, it's probably not very interesting, because the rabbits will just kind of float around and look weird when you play the game. If you don't know how to change the animation. But yeah, cool mod by Endo Perez. Always does cool stuff, our hero.
Yay! Someone should give it an endo face.
Yes, indeed. Next we have a forum post, actually. A poll about dismemberment. So this is a post by Endo Perez, our hero once again. Because he's tired of seeing all the threads about it. This poll is biased, since I don't care about dismemberment. However, I think it'll be lots of work for the benefit. Also, I doubt this will really affect the developers one way or another, but I wish this would stop all the bloody threads from popping up all the time. I'm also hoping the neutral opinions would have a number of votes in them, so I'd have some way to argue all the vocal blood for the blood god guys, but I doubt that. Okay, so basically this is a poll where you get to vote on whether you think they should add dismemberment into Overgrowth. So let's take a look at what people have voted so far. So 12 people voted, 11% that is, that I'd prefer it if the developers didn't spend that much time working on it. 13%, basically the same amount, says I would prefer to play without it. 20% says I don't really care one way or another. And then we have 42% that says I like it, I'd love to have it in Overgrowth. And then we have 14% that says I love it. Dismemberment should be added even if it means less work in other areas. So that basically makes it 50-50, right? That's almost 50, about 50% that think that would like to have it in Overgrowth, and about 50% that either don't care or do not want it in Overgrowth.
Yep.
So,
pretty close.
Yeah. So once again, it's up to the developers, I guess.
Right. I have a feeling, at least right now, that the models currently would not easily incorporate dismemberment. I think if you, David did a post, and he and Aubrey had, for a different game that they had sort of done some conceptualization about, he had started looking into what dismemberment would, how he would make dismemberment work in a game. I think you can still find it if you go and look. He also at the same time did a shooting tech demo where he shot a wall that would crumble as you shot it, and the models that he was using to make bodies dismember are much more complicated than the current models are for the game. So I'm not sure. I personally think that dismemberment may not be worth the time at this point in the game to work on it. I think there are still a lot of other lower level functional things that need to go in before sort of an eye candy. So that's my personal thought as well.
Yeah, I kind of think the same thing, that sure, dismemberment would be incredibly awesome to have in the game. It actually would be, because I know David would make it feel and look, just perfect. But it wouldn't take I don't think it would be something that took just 1 week. It would take development time, all the time. Every time they wanted to add a new model for the game, a new character model, they would need to make dismemberment models for, every body part they wanted to be able to be chopped off. And that would take development time, so it would just make the whole process of making the game much slower.
Right.
Unless David can come up with some amazing solution where he dynamically chops up the models, and in that case, it probably just wouldn't look as good as it would, using handmade models.
Right.
So I think that instead of, as you said, we're just doing eye candy stuff like this, they should, focus on getting the game out, because if it's not there, I don't know. Would people really miss it that much?
I don't know about that, because I think, I don't really think they would miss it. I think they would only enjoy it in addition to what it is, So, yeah, I don't think I would miss it personally.
No, I probably wouldn't. I wouldn't think about it too much, actually, probably. But hopefully, there will be someone who's awesome enough to make a mod about it or something. That would be cool.
It would be cool. I mean, I think that it's something that could probably pretty easily be added in the future. So, but I think, already the blood is pretty gruesome. The pain animations are already there to a point. I mean, there's already a lot of interesting, ways to make it seem painful.
Without having to chop an arm off.
Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, it's from what I remember of their initial list of things that they wanted to include in the game, dismemberment was not one of them. And in fact, possibly the alternatives to even killing your enemies were definitely a high on the list. What if you just stun an enemy? So his focus is not all about blood and gore. His is about decisions and reaction and consequences. Decision and consequences. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. But I'm sure he'll add more. He's probably going to add more stuff to make combat feel better in the future as well. Like right now, when you're hitting someone in the face, you don't get the same satisfaction as you will in the future when he adds bruises and bleeding when you're fighting and stuff like that. So it's going to be quite satisfying without having to chop stuff off.
Yep, I agree.
But yeah, we'll see. I'm pretty sure that even if everyone wanted dismemberment, that he probably wouldn't add it because it would be so much time. I don't know. Well, anyways, go vote there for whatever you want to if you haven't already. I'm quite surprised that so many people have voted. The poll has been up for less than a week and it already has 106 votes. So that's pretty crazy. Obviously, this is something that people are interested in.
Yep.
So check it out. That brings us out of the community segment and into the community side note segment. It's basically the same thing as the community segment, but it's just shorter stuff that we don't really have much to say about. So first we have a video. Let's make that smaller. Let's see, a video, Catching the Runner, made by random Google user. So let's take a quick look at this. So the awesome thing about this video, I guess, is the awesome laugh at the end.
Yeah.
And it is indeed awesome. That laugh just makes me smile.
Cool.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, if anyone's wondering why my YouTube is looking different, if you go to youtube.com/cosmicpanda, you can opt in for like a beta version of YouTube. So yeah, now you know. It has cool stuff in it. Check it out if you're interested.
Oh, cool.
And then we have a mod updated. The blood mod by Last has been updated to work with the latest alpha version. This mod makes the game more bloody. When you're hitting people in the face, there is blood, and yeah, adds more blood to the game. So if you're interested in that, check it out. He keeps updating it for every alpha, so that people can keep downloading it, and it's still popular. It has so far been downloaded 10 times for this week's alpha, so it sure is appreciated, and I hope he will continue doing this.
Yeah, this mod, I know we've said it probably 30 times now since he first introduced it, but this mod is definitely something that you want to add to your version of the game. So I'm just going to say that there.
Yes, indeed. And that brings us out of the community side note segment and into the news segment, where we will take a look at the bit more official stuff in regards to Overgrowth. And first we have a blog post called Art Asset Overview 20. So, yeah, this is the latest art asset overview. Let's take a quick look at it, and then we'll be back right afterwards.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Overgrowth Art Asset Overview. I'm working on the cats now. Here's some old concept art. I took a look at this first. You'll notice the main thing is that they are very colorful and they have these kind of puffy clothes to make them look bigger. The 3D model's coming along, but it's not finished yet. Here it is. You can see it's missing a few things like teeth and claws. It's also missing the eyeballs. I've painted the eye sockets to resemble eyes. I've been kind of busy getting ready for PAX. I'm doing a panel with a bunch of other talented indie artists. You can check the blog for more details about that. And so that's it for this week's Art Asset Overview. Don't forget you can pre-order the game at wolfire.com/preorder. Thanks.
So yeah, this week's Art Asset Overview was very short, or this times I should say, since they're not necessarily weekly.
Correct.
He basically just shows off some of the cat concept art, because he's been working on the character model for the cats, and you know, character models take a whole lot of time to make compared to other assets. So it's understandable that since he's been busy with getting ready for PAX, as he says, and that it is a character model, that it has taken a bit of extra time.
Right. But I'm excited to see it in the game. You know, glad, you know, what we don't get is a size reference compared to the rabbits and the wolves, and I'm sort of curious to see how it will actually compare next to other characters in the game. So, yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. We did have that size reference chart somewhere, didn't we?
The size reference chart is awesome, but what we don't see is with this actual character in game.
Yeah, that would have been useful. Though I'm pretty sure they can easily change the size, so that might be something that he wants to do towards the end of the production of this character, or something. I'm not sure.
Possibly, yeah. I don't know.
Because it has received quite a lot of criticism, and it feels like, why criticize this? Because it's such a heavy work in progress right now. It's so far from being done, so, you know, giving criticism won't really do anything. Okay, I don't know. Yeah, it's a weird subject to talk about, maybe, or should I?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, it's different when, for example, if people are making a mod and they're posting like screenshots and they're like, please tell us what you think, and people are like, oh yeah, it looks good, or like, oh, you should do this and that. But since this is just an artistic overview, I mean, he doesn't make this really to receive feedback on the character model, as I understand it, because it's such a heavy work in progress. So he knows most, if not all, of the flaws already. It's like, you know, giving feedback on the fighting system in Overgrowth right now, because, you know, not all aspects are there yet. So it's kind of redundant, because it's impossible to know how the fighting system will be before they have added all the new stuff. And just the same thing is with this character. It's important. It's not important. It's impossible to know how the character will look when Aubrey's done with it, when he feels like he's done with it. And at that point, it might be useful to give some feedback, you know, as to the proportions or whatever. But until then, it's still a work in progress. So giving feedback now won't change anything at all. That's at least how I feel about it. Just because it has received so much, actually, I think quite a bit of negative feedback.
Yeah, you know, it's been a while since I've read any of the feedback, and most of it seemed to focus on just the neck, perhaps. I mean, that was sort of the place where when I read it, that was the place that people were focusing on, and you know, to me, it's kind of hard to you know, focus on something that's inanimate in such a short period of time, you know. So I don't know. I mean, I don't think that giving feedback is necessarily a bad thing per se, but I don't think that he's probably going to be looking to those critiques as inspiration for what to do next, if that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of my point. But the negative feedback might affect him, though, if you know what I mean. So,
true.
You know, he might, you know, become, you know, sad on a low level or something. You know, it's not fun, even though you know that you're not done with the character yet, so they shouldn't really give you feedback as saying that, oh, that's bad or that's bad. It still affects you. So yeah, I think it's just better to look at either the good parts or just don't write anything about it at all.
Yeah, I see your point. So there are some excellent points about this cat, actually, that I really like. I think the face is coming along very well. It looks to me very different, shaped very much like a cat compared to the other animals, and I really like the coloring of the fur on the face. I think that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I like the ears as well. The ears look really cool.
Yeah.
They look catty. The colors of the clothes, I'm sure, also are works in progress, but I like the colors work quite well together, actually, even though they look kind of odd right now.
Yeah, I think that it will, I think the colors might change a little. I don't know. You know, sometimes though, when it goes from being a static model to something with animations, things like that tend to change in my mind. I don't know. You know, when I finally I used to think that the fur on the rabbits looked a little static, but once they were in the game and moving, that seemed to lessen in my mind, meaning it was not nearly as important as I felt like it was when I first saw them that way. So I think that it's pretty cool, and I think the colors, I mean, I think that the clothing will look cool actually once it starts moving.
Hopefully so.
So yeah,
in any case, it's going to be really cool to have a new race in the game.
Yes, agreed.
Because right now we only have the rabbits and the wolf. So having a cat in there is going to be half of the races, I think.
Well, that'll take us to 3/5.
Alright, there are 5 races. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, so that's really
currently cool. Unless you count the whale man, but
yeah,
we'll only have to see about that.
I'm not sure if he'll be an official race. But anywho.
Possibly not.
So that's the art asset overview number 20. And apparently Aubrey is going to be speaking at PAX. So if you're going to be at PAX, you should make sure to catch his presentation, where he's going to be talking about how he learned to stop worrying and make art for indie games. So he's going to be one of several people in that presentation talking about that.
Should be very cool.
Yes, indeed. And we will be looking forward to the next art asset overview, coming hopefully quite soon. But next up, we have a tweet. Sword versus sword active blocking. So David added initial sword versus sword active blocking.
Yay!
Indeed. Yay. So that's really cool. I remember the sword fights from Luguri were always so awesome. You're like ding 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 ding. Super
yeah.
cool.
I know a lot of people actually complain about swords and having reversals in Lugaru being too easy, but I think I don't think that's true. I think a good sword fights in Lugaru were cool. I think that they definitely will be better in Overgrowth, but they have a good you know, they had a good concept of this is what happens when you swing a sword at someone and you hit another sword, and how do you react. And so I'm excited to see how that feels now in this game.
Yeah, hopefully they'll make it more dynamic, because in Luguri it was basically a how can you say, like a beat game almost, where you need to click in a specific you need to click like in a specific time, yeah. So in order to not get overrun by his sword, you need to be like click 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 like that, to make sure that you hit all the times, because otherwise he would hit you and you would probably instantly die. And then you needed to be ready for that either his or your sword could fly away. Because if I remember correctly, you couldn't really reverse very well while you were holding a sword. Like either you could hit him or you could take his sword away, but that was kind of hard to do because you would need to get close. And yeah, it was just safer to just stand there and chop away.
Yeah, well, the thing I didn't like about reversing in the sword fights there is that you then drop your own sword, and the current behavior in Overgrowth, if you were to drop your sword to steal your opponent's sword, would be that they run to steal your sword, pick up the sword you just dropped. So
Yeah.
we'll see how it goes. The cool thing is that combat with weapons is moving forward, and we're always excited when the core gameplay, I mean, this game is about combat, when the core gameplay is updated. So excited to see where that goes.
Indeed, and I'm sure David will, you know, smooth out everything and make sword fighting more dynamic than it was in Overgrowth. Make it awesome, because he has a history of making stuff awesome.
That he does.
And then we have another tweet, weapon collision sparks. Added a spark effect for weapon versus weapon collisions. So that's cool. You'll see sparks when you're hitting a weapon with your weapon.
Yes. And you know, that's a fairly small detail, but will be cool. I hope that it doesn't happen every time the swords collide. I think that will be a little too much, but we'll see what it looks like. Hopefully we'll see that in this upcoming alpha.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully. I agree that it would be too much. I mean, it doesn't happen every time. I think it's more of a rare occurrence than it happens. Yeah. It doesn't happen more times than it does happen, if you put it like that.
Correct. There's an interesting restaurant here in Los Angeles, and I think it's actually a chain called Medieval Times, where they sort of recreate medieval battles, and they actually coat their swords with a material so that sparks happen more often on purpose. And but even then, when you watch them, they don't happen all the time. So you know, but kind of fun. Maybe that would be something interesting to find, is some videos from the Medieval Times restaurant and see
Yeah.
what it looks like.
Yeah. Next we have another tweet, and this is the last item on the agenda. This tweet is about the blood drying. So also made blood start out bright red and shiny, becoming darker and less shiny over time. Ain't that awesome?
That should be cool. Definitely.
Yeah.
So
Blood does, it has this like forever shiny feeling to it now. It feels very plastic like that because it's always so shiny. So this should be a good addition to make it feel much more realistic.
right.
It will be one of those small things that you won't actually notice, but it will just feel natural, and when you do notice, you'll be like, oh, that's awesome.
Right.
Of course, we will know it from the beginning, since we already know, but yeah.
Right. And you know, I mean, the only thing that we would need on top of that is for viscosity and clotting, and I doubt that's going to happen too much.
Viscosity
as it dries. That's the consistency of the consistency of the liquid, how thick or thin it is, and clotting would make it thicker over time. So it would relate to how quickly it moves. Like with a, I don't remember exactly how it works, but with a higher viscosity, or with some types of viscosity, it will be thinner and more watery. But then as it were to coagulate, it would become thicker and would move slower.
Mm-hmm.
So that would also be a cool addition, but that would be similar to dismemberment, where it's an interesting effect that probably would take away too much coding time, I think, or for probably not enough, you know.
I'm not sure how his current blood
reward
system works, but it might be easy for him to add. Like every time the blood drops somewhere, it'll like drop slower or something. I don't know. Well, anyways, yeah, the blood will probably flow so quickly and then stop flowing when it gets to the end and just drip there. So it wouldn't be noticeable probably almost at all. But
Yeah.
what I'm looking forward to actually when it comes to blood is blood smearing and stuff like that.
Yep,
Which
that
I
will
hope-
also be very cool.
Yeah, which I do hope will be added.
Which we saw in his really early blood tech demo, right?
It
Or not some...
No, not so much smearing in that case. It was more like blood. That was like his dynamic blood effect, like his dynamic blood decal, I guess you could say.
Right. That's
But-
true.
but
And
I-
it kind of combined too as they grouped together, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. But what I want is, for example, if I have blood on my hand and I like punch someone in the face, he will get blood on his face and stuff like that. And if I fall on the ground and I have blood on me, there will be blood on the ground, and the blood on me will be like smeared out a bit to make it look less like, you know, someone drew a line on me, if you know what I mean, because that's kind of what it looks like right now.
Right.
But I don't
Right.
know how dynamic that system he has is, but hopefully he can do stuff kind of like that at least.
Yeah, we'll see. Also, blood on weapons will be great.
Mm-hmm.
So, which he said adding this new per texel information will allow blood on weapons to exist. So
Yeah.
it will come eventually.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. Like, it would be... Yeah. I'm just thinking about this smearing thing. I want to be able to smear blood. I was thinking that you could, like, if, you know, you could wipe your weapon from blood in Luguru. It would be really cool if you could, like, wipe the weapon on your clothes or something like that. And it would smear
Right.
on the clothes.
Right. That would be cool.
Yeah, stuff like that. That would be awesome. Well, anyways, that's that tweet. So these 3 tweets, the sword versus sword fighting, the weapon collision sparks, and the blood drying, are things that we will probably see in the next alpha. So look forward to that, guys.
Exactly.
And that's the end of the show. So I'd like to thank you all for watching. And we will be back next week with another Overgrowth Weekly.
Excellent.
Yes, indeed. So see you guys.
See you guys.